So,
Yeah.
we have requests for a cryptid. Now, what's a good one to tell you? You know what? I know just the one. I'm going to tell you the story. It's a very terrifying one. It's actually the one my friend from Kentucky told me. And I'm going to tell you the story of the Hounds. Now, it's called the Hounds because a while back, a friend of mine who we were on Discord with, about 2-3 years ago, he was traveling around and he was telling us a story because he goes around for contract work all the time, and he was telling us shit that had happened to him all throughout his travels. And at one point, he was in Kentucky with a couple friends of his, and they decided while they were driving through, like 1 or 2 in the morning and all that, they stopped by a gas station. Now, when they stopped at this gas station, they were just getting a few things. They were gassing up their truck, they were getting some Funyuns, a couple energy drinks and everything, because, this man lives an unhealthy lifestyle. He's made of nothing but chips and energy drinks at this point. I swear to God, this man's blood is fucking Red Bull. Yeah, I saw that. My blood is coffee, but I respect the energy drink hustle. So, at one point, this friend of mine, and again, I trust this man a lot. Sometimes he embellishes a bit, but this felt a little too detailed for his ability. No offense to you, man who knows who he is, but I'm going to refer to you as Oscar, because he watches my videos, and I'm going to get yelled at later for this. So, at one point, he's at this gas station with about 2 or 3 of his buddies. They were traveling over, they were trying to make the next state over so they could do some extra work. And while they were there, the guy who was running the cash register, he looked very apathetic about a lot of shit. But it's the late night shift. Anybody that's worked overnight knows that you just don't give a shit what happens. Yeah, you get it.
Yep.
So at one point, they're getting all their stuff, and they're bringing it forward, and they're like, "Hey, we want to buy this stuff," and the guy's like, "Okay," just a very flat, "Okay," and he's like, "All right, damn." So he grabs one thing, looks at it, scans it, puts it in a bag, grabs another thing, looks at it, scans it, puts it in a bag. And my friend's just kind of there, and he's like, "Man, this guy's going so fucking slow, Jesus Christ." So he's just standing there, just like, "All right, guess I'll get a cup of coffee too. Hey, Hunter, we're telling a few stories if you would like to join us. Have a seat and feel free to listen. Hey, Dizzy, how you doing? We're telling some stories if you want to join us."
Hey.
I am sitting.
Come sit.
Oh, you are sitting. Perfect.
Come over here.
So, just to catch you two up, I am telling a horror story that happened to a friend of mine about 2 years ago. So feel free to enjoy. So as I was saying, my friend, he was like, "Man, this guy's taking so fucking long to scan our items. I guess I'm just gonna get a cup of coffee at this point because I'm saving my energy drinks for the rest of the road." So he goes and he gets some coffee. He's powering the machine, and then he hears a howl in the distance, and he's like, "Fuck was that?" And he's like, "All right, must be wild fucking dogs or whatever." So he goes back to doing his coffee. Then he hears it again. He's like, "Fuck was that?" All right, fucking gets his coffee, goes to the front, and he's like, "Hey guys," he's talking to his friends. He's like, "Y'all hear those fucking dogs out there?" And his friends are like, "The hell are you talking about? What do you mean dogs?" He's like, "You don't hear that howling out there?" It's like, "It happens every minute." And they're like, "No, it's quiet. I mean, there's crickets out there, but ain't nothing else." He's like, "I swear I'm hearing howling." And the cashier looks at him, just stares him right in the eye. Just deadpan stare. He's just like, "Be careful." He's like, "What the fuck do you mean, be careful?" And he's like, "Be careful."
Oh no.
He's like, okay. And the rest of his friends are like, "Dude, what do you mean be careful?" They're like, "What, are there people out there?" He's like, just be careful." He's like, "What? Okay, just fucking scan our items and let us get the hell out of here." It's like, "All right, whatever." So he gets it, and now, instead of going 1, scan, look, scan, he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just loading them up with chips and the fucking energy drinks that they got, wraps it up and then puts it there, and it's like, "Oh, that's gonna be like $36 or whatever." I don't remember the amount. And they're like, "All right, fuck, that was fast. Here's my debit card. Just go with it." And he's like, "Card machine doesn't work." He's like, "All right, does anybody have cash?" And everybody's like, "I mean, I got $20. He's like, "That's enough." He's like, "Okay, are you sure?" And he's like, "That's enough. Just give me the money." And it's like, okay, fine, fucking weirdo. So my friend, he pays. They give him the $20, and they're just like, "All right, weird night shift guy. It's the night shift. They're always gonna be filled with some interesting characters, we'll call it, as a way to not discriminate, because I've seen Night Shift and never associated with them after dark, but you know how it is. Anyways, so
Night Shift.
I associate with you.
So I know what it's like.
So, my friend then, they get in their truck, and they start getting ready to go. And as they're driving down, you know, like they're chewing on their energy bars, sipping Red Bull, you know, just shooting the shit and everything. My friend, he's like, and then my friend was telling me, he's like, at that point, I started to hear the howling again, just all over the place, and barking and shit. And I'm like, all right, crank up the fucking music. And he's like, that didn't help. He heard the barking still. And his friends were like, dude, you need to get some sleep or something, because it's been like, what, a day or two since you slept? Like, and he does this regularly, because, you know, they travel all over and all that. And he's just like, nah, man, I'm hearing fucking dogs, and it's not just hallucination. I'm hearing dogs. And they're like, all right, just lay down in the back seat or something. My friend, he lies down. And when he lies down, they've been driving and driving and driving. And when he woke up, he said he had the worst dreams he had ever had. Just all these dogs, no face, but the mouth was like open and slapping, no eyes, no nose, nothing. It was all skin all over, not even fur, just little patches all over. And when he woke up, he was like, "Man, that was the most disturbing dream ever." And my friend, his group was just like, "Dude, like, it's probably all those energy drinks, or maybe you're just fucking stupid. Like, maybe you're just having a nightmare. Just chill." It's like we're gonna cross the state line in, you know, like 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. Like, we'll be fine. He's like, all right, whatever. Oh, I'm muted for a second. My friend, he's like, all right, whatever. So they get closer to the state line, and my friend then says he's looking out the window and everything, and in the woods he's seeing these dog-looking things. Just every now and again, they're running by and then they disappear, running by then disappear, like just for a second. And he's like, guys, do you not fucking see that? And then one guy's just like, no, but I'm hearing the barking. Like, I think there might be, like, dogs out there, shit. He's like, there's been dogs for the miles that we've been driving. He's like, I don't know, maybe. Like, I'm not, it might be fucking, what, coyotes, wolves, fucking, what, someone let the German Shepherd out or whatever, I don't know. He's like, in the middle of fucking nowhere, and that many of them. And his friends are like, dude, look, it is what it is. And as they're driving further, as they get on and get closer to the state line, my buddy says he starts seeing these dogs more and more on the tree line. Just running, barking, howling and all that, and then they'll disappear much longer than usual. And then when they get close, about an hour from the state line, his buddy, who's driving, is like, man, I'm starting to see some weird fucking shit out there. My friend's like, what are you seeing? He's like, fucking looks like wolves or something, man. Maybe a coyote, I don't know. Like, it's shit out there. He's like, dude, I am fucking seeing that non-stop. And he's like, man, we're faster than any animal going like, what, 90 miles an hour? Like, we're fine. We're not going to be, we're going to be fine. They finally get to what he said is just the thickest soup of fog he has ever seen in his life. Just right there. And friend turns on his fog lights. They're driving through it and everything. And then the other friends are like, man, I'm hearing barking. What the fuck is all that? And they're like, and then my buddy is freaking out. He's having a panic attack because he's very superstitious. He is very much ghosts are real, demons are real, you know, God, devil, all that. He believes all of that. I, you know, no judgment. You know, I have my own thoughts and all that, but this is about him. And he was like, dude, I was scared shitless. I thought we had like demons on us or something. And as he's describing it, they're going through the fog, and then they hit something as they're driving. And at first, the driver is like, I'm going to stop the car. Like, what if we hit a guy? And my friend's like, no, you fucking drive non-stop. I don't give a shit what you think. I will pay for it if there's insurance. Get me the fuck out of this fog. And the driver guy's like, are you sure? What if we hit a guy? And my buddy's like, we're in the middle of fucking fog with dogs barking at us. I don't give a shit what you think. Who's going to identify us? Get me out of here. And they're like, all right, whatever. Goddamn, you make a good point. So they drive. They finally get out of the fog. And then about 30 minutes later, they reach the state line. But they get pulled over right before they reach any kind of like checkpoint or whatever. They meet a sheriff. I've never been to Kentucky myself, so I don't know what they got on the state line. This is just him telling it to me. They get pulled over, and when the cop pulls them over, they get the license and registration. And my buddy's like, "Yeah, no, you know, we're good." And the officer's like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Yeah, man, that fog back there's crazy." And the officer's like, "What are you talking about? There ain't no fog." They're like, "Yeah, no, we just came from fog back there and everything. Huge thing of it." They're like, okay, have you gentlemen been drinking? Are you on anything? They're like, no, we saw fog back there. The guy's like, okay, well, there's a motel not too far from there at the next town. It's like 20 minutes that way past all that, you can get some rest or something, son. Then he checks his shit, they go, and as they drive down the road a bit more, they get close, they stop off to the side, and the driver's like, man, I want to check something. And my friend's like, don't go the fuck outside, dude, just don't go the fuck outside. He's like, no, I want to see something. He gets out, he goes to the front of the car, and there's no damage. There ain't no blood, there ain't no guts, there ain't no dent, nothing. Car's perfectly fine. And he's like, we hit something, right? Like, and everybody's like, yeah, no, we felt the wham, like, we hit something. He's like, my truck is fine. There's not a scratch, there ain't no blood, there's nothing. And then my friend, he starts hearing the barking again. And he looks out in the tree line, and he says to me, he sees the biggest canine, dog, wolf-looking fucking thing he's ever seen in his life. Huge. Like, it's not massive, of course. It's not bigger than the truck, but it's a big boy. No eyes, flesh over all the mouth and everything. The mouth has, like, all these little, like, giant teeth, little incisors and big teeth in them. And it's just watching from the tree line.
Jesus.
And then instead of growling or barking, he sees it smile, grin ear to ear. And my friend screams, he's like, no, get in the fucking car, get us out of here. My buddy, or not my buddy, my friend, and his friend, the driver looks over, sees what he's looking at, says he screams like a little kid, gets in the truck, and they just fucking go like almost 100 miles, like 0 to nothing, quick as they can. And when the sun comes up, they stop at a motel and everything. They want to get a few hours sleep and everything. And they tell the front desk guy, and they're like, yeah, we saw some shit last night. We need to get some rest and everything. We saw big fucking dogs. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, big dogs, right? No face or any of that? Or they got the big teeth and all that? What? And my buddy's like, yeah? He's like, yeah. So, some people who come through, early in the morning, sometimes they say they see shit like that. I just thought it was like bath salts or something. And they're like, okay. So my friends, they go and they get some sleep, they go about their day, and ever since then, they have never, from what he's told me, they have never, not once in their life, driven when the sun goes down. Once it goes down, they either find like a little off to the side, a motel, anything, and they just sit there and they'll like, roll up the windows, shut everything off, and they'll just like sleep. Like, you ever seen I Am Legend, where he sleeps in the bathtub? That's my buddy. Back of his truck, sleeping on the floor, and he's just like, barely gets a wink of sleep. He hasn't heard barking since then, and he refuses to get a dog because of it. But he's just like, anytime he's out driving, and if it's late at night, he'll like kind of bog down behind the seats and everything, and he always keeps his gun on him now, because he's just terrified.
If I see something block out the wood line, nah, I'm out.
Yeah, no, he always keeps his gun on him now. But that's the story of the Hounds, and it still gives me shivers, because I don't like driving late at night either. Thank you all for listening.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Guess what?
What's up?
Guess what? I fucking passed my class. I'm so hyped.
Bro, congratulations! Goddess K here was taking some classes, and she just passed. Hell yeah, dude!
Nice.
Congratulations!
Thumbs up.
Really glad to hear
My
that.
heart was hurting me so bad.
Oh man, I'm glad you passed. Congratulations.
Oh, another thing.
So I've been requested to tell you a funny story from my life. Now, once again, to set the scene, I, as an individual, I hate math. I hate math so much, but I specialize in it. I'm very good at math.
Downstairs.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. He had to talk to someone. It's okay. So again, as I was saying, to get your attention one more time, I hate math, but I'm good at it. I graduated with a degree in business. I have experience with stock exchange. I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to economics, and I even run my own business on the side. But even with all of this, I too am human. And unfortunately, if a human makes a mistake in front of its very, very loving but shit-talking family, you never truly live down that mistake. Now, allow me to set the scene. I've just come home for the holidays, for about a week or two. It's my third year in college. I'm doing extremely well. I have a 4.0 in the business field. I'm one of the top few in there, about the top 10 if you will. I'm very good at what I do to kind of toot my own horn. But at one point during the night, when my family is cooking and we're watching a movie or whatever, I'm so very tired. I am very, very, very tired. And my little brother, he loves to shit talk me. Because I always shit talk him right back. And he comes up and tries to slap me, I grab the hand and then slap right back with the force of 10,000 bullet trains. Because I am that good at shit talking back. Nobody shit talks me and gets away with it without a few scratches. But, unfortunately, I was so very tired. I was falling asleep. I was very exhausted. And my brother, in all of his glory, he looks at me, he's like, "Hey, storyteller," using my real name, of course. He's like, "You ain't got no friends." And I'm like, "Fuck you, dude. I've got friends." And he's like, "Oh yeah? How many friends you got?" I'm like, "I got a lot of friends, man. I got more than you." And he's like, "Oh yeah? How many do you have exactly?" I'm like, "I've got so many friends. You don't even know it, man. You got no friends. I got more than you." And he's like, "Oh yeah? How many friends you got?" "I got so many friends, I can count them all on one finger. You bet." Now, to those of you with acute hearing, you might have heard something there that sounded wrong. My brother looked at me and he's like, "That's really fucking sad." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I got more friends than you." And he's like, "Dude, that was so fucking sad." I'm like, "What do you mean? I have more friends than you. Fuck off. I can count them all on one finger. I have a lot of them." And he's like, now, I accidentally said that a second time. And you might have heard what I said.
Shut up and mute.
Yes, he is.
Now, you might have heard that the second
I
time.
told you that already.
But unfortunately,
Okay.
I didn't hear that. So he is like, "Oh yeah, count them all." It's like, "I will, I can count them all on one finger." A third time. Then he's like, "All right, then do it. Count your fucking friends." I'm like, "I will. I can count them all right now. 1, oh." I'm looking at my finger. I'm standing in the kitchen. The smell of taquitos in the air. I'm looking at my one finger. I'm looking at it like a caveman who has just discovered that he has appendages. And I'm looking at it longingly, with no hope. The Empire has won, the Jedi have fallen. I'm looking at my finger. And I'm like, oh.
Yo,
My
someone's
mother,
dying in the background.
yeah, you can hear my wife in the back. My mother is cooking. She stands up, slowly turns around, and with the eyes of a widow who has just lost her husband at sea, the eyes of a widow whose sons have just died in the Great War, she looks at me with so much discontent, so much just betrayal. She looks at me like I have just stabbed her in the heart. She looks at me, and I'm like, "Mom?" And she's just like, "I'm paying to send you to business school?" I'm like, I can count. She's like, "That's really sad." I'm like, "Stop judging me!" My dad comes around the corner. He looks at me, and he's just like, "You fucking idiot." Grabs a beer and goes back to the living room, and I'm just like, I look at my finger. I'm just like, I have one friend, kind of. I skip dinner and I go back and I sleep in my room. I can't take it. And that's a short story, but I've never lived that down to this day, because to this day, if I make any sort of
Espresso and nobody knows.
and now everybody hears this and I'll never hear the end of it, but now, every time I make even the slightest mistake in terms of mathematics, be it doing something on a bill, maybe doing quick maths, or how many miles an hour are we going, they will look at me, hold up one finger, and be like, one friend! I'm like, shut the fuck up! And that is the story of a funny instance of my
I
life.
got a bunch of friends.
Yeah, I have all these friends now. Mom, are you proud of me? I can count them on one finger. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
I'll always be your friend.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Hey there, and thanks for watching. I really'd appreciate it if you could like the video and maybe even subscribe if you enjoyed yourself. This whole thing is kind of part of a new project I want to do with the channel, where I go throughout VR chat, telling stories and maybe even collecting a few. the world is a bit of a hectic place right now, so I'm hoping maybe by sharing stories and everything, we can all laugh and maybe get a sense of wonder through everything. Stories have kept people entertained for generations, and I just want to share a couple of them and maybe even create a few new ones. If you've enjoyed the video, I'm really glad, and if you have any feedback, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm always looking to improve because I know I'm not perfect at this. For those of you that want to join and see these stories live, I am going to be getting on VR chat every Friday from 2 p.m. CST to 5 p.m. CST in order to tell stories, collect them. Might go a little longer, maybe a little less, it depends entirely what happens. But in the future, I might also try to stream this. We'll see what happens because I really want to try to work with a larger audience and really just kind of make everybody laugh and have a good time. So, thanks again for watching this vid. I hope you had a wonderful time. Bye-bye.